A life unwritten. From the very first breath, Sophia was destined for greatness, or so everyone around her believed. Her family, friends, and teachers were sure she'd become someone remarkable. But to Sophia, life seemed like an unwritten story, an empty page waiting for its first sentence. And she had no idea where to begin. Growing up in a small, picturesque town, Sophia was a dreamer. Her childhood days were filled with imaginative adventures in her backyard, where she would pretend to be an explorer, a writer, or a queen. The people around her nurtured her spirit, but as she got older, the pressure to write her story, to become something or someone, began to weigh heavily on her. In high school, Sophia was the top student. She had straight A's, led the debate team, and even excelled in art. Her achievements were endless, but she felt no connection to them. She was living the life others wanted her to live, filling her days with accomplishments that felt hollow. Yet, she didn't know how to escape the life being written for her. Her parents pushed her toward a career in law, her teachers suggested she go into academia, and her friends imagined her as a world-renowned artist. But Sophia had no clue what she wanted for herself. The pressure grew as graduation loomed, and the expectations of others clouded her mind like a thick fog. The summer after high school, she decided to take a gap year, much to her parents' dismay. They wanted her to go to college immediately, fearing she'd lose her momentum. But Sophia needed time. She felt like her life was a book that had too many authors. Everyone but herself was holding the pen. During her gap year, Sophia traveled to Europe, a place she had always dreamed of visiting. She wanted to see the world and, more importantly, discover who she was outside the expectations that had been placed on her. In Paris, she spent days wandering through art galleries, sketching in parks, and sipping coffee at quaint cafes. She felt alive, but still unsure of what she was meant to do. Rome brought its own wonders, with ancient history unfolding at every corner. But even there, among the ruins of the past, she couldn't find the answer she sought. It wasn't until she arrived in a small village in Greece, surrounded by the sea and sky, that something shifted. Sitting by the shore one evening, she watched the sunset dip below the horizon. In that stillness, she realized something important. Her life didn't have to be written like a novel with a grand plot, filled with awards, accolades, and perfection. Life wasn't a story to be written all at once. It was a collection of moments, choices, and experiences. It didn't matter if her story wasn't extraordinary by other people's standards. What mattered was that it was hers. Sophia started to write her story, not with words but with actions. She volunteered at a local school, helping children learn art. She spent hours painting landscapes of the places she visited, losing herself in the colors and brushstrokes. She even started journaling, not with the intention of crafting a masterpiece, but simply to document her thoughts and feelings as they came. The pressure to be someone melted away, and in its place, a sense of peace emerged. She realized that life wasn't about meeting expectations or achieving greatness in the eyes of others. It was about creating a life that felt true to her, one moment at a time. After a year abroad, Sophia returned home, but she was different. Her parents still wanted her to pursue law, her friends still imagined her as an artist, and her teachers still saw her as a scholar. But Sophia no longer felt the need to live up to their ideas. She enrolled in college, but instead of studying law or art, she chose a path that made sense to her: human psychology. She wanted to understand people, their stories, their struggles, and their joys. She wanted to help others write their own unwritten lives. Sophia's story was far from finished, but for the first time, she was the one holding the pen. The beauty of a life unwritten is that it's full of possibility, and Sophia had finally learned that the most important story she could ever write was her own.